Court to order.
Glenn Whitley.
Our invocation today is going to be led by Craig Maxwell in our what? Excuse me. Let me take the roll first.
Okay. Glenn Whitley, County Judge. Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Our prayer today will be led by Craig Maxwell in our auditor's office, and after the prayer, please remain standing for the pledges.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
You'll bow your head. Lord, we come before you today seeking your blessings and thanking you for all you do for us. We thank you for bringing us here today to make decisions and pray that these decisions will better the lives of many. We ask that you provide us with the opportunity to make a difference in this great land in which we live. Please look out for those who serve our country, for they put their lives in danger every day so that we may continue to live our life. Today and every day, let us live by the phrase, Lord, lead us and guide us. Let your face shine down upon us. We thank you for sending your Son before us so that we may be forgiven of our sins and also that we have an example by which to live. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Craig.
Commissioners, we have one agenda announcement as it relates to today's agenda, and this is under purchasing, item 8H11. We're going to ask that we remove that item from the agenda, and we will bring it back in a week or two with the necessary corrections. Also, members of the court, you might notice that under closed that we do not have anything for the court to consider in closed, so we will not be going into closed today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going for a record today?
No, we didn't start till 10 after. I don't think we could set a record. We have our minutes of the last meeting.
Move approval of the minutes. Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. I guess we better switch these around. Turn my light on over there, would you, please? Green light. Vote is unanimous. We have one proclamation today, White Cane Day, and I will read that into the record. Whereas the white cane was introduced in the United States in 1930 by a member of the Lions Club International and has, along with the guide dog, become universally known as the identifying symbol of the blind and visually impaired. Whereas the white cane and guide dog are tools that are key to greater mobility and independence for the blind or visually impaired, and whereas the sighted, the white cane, and the dog are reminders to respond with respect and courtesy to individuals using them. And whereas for all of us, they're reminders of our commitment to removing barriers, both physical and perceived, that prevent people who are blind from reaching their full potential. And whereas the blind community has come together to promote awareness of the independence and contributions that individuals who are blind make to the social and economic life of our community. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do proclaim October 15, 2014 as White Cane Day in Tarrant County and urge all citizens to join in promoting independent travel and full participation for all of us in every aspect of life. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 14th day of October 2014, and I will move for its approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous. And we have Elisa Auer, representative from Texas Department of Assistive and Rehabilitative Services, DARS, Division for the Blind. Todd Icard, DARS representative. Lion Bob Peterson, representative from 2E2 Lions Oregon, and iBank, and Sheila Derrick, representative from American Council of the Blind, are present to accept the plaque. If you would all meet me up at the podium. And let me say this too, that Steve Thompson will be over tomorrow at a program for the blind, making this presentation again. But let me come down and make this presentation today. Yeah, let me get right here. You're fine right there. But I wanted to present this to you and let you make any comments that y'all would like to make to the court. And y'all want to get a picture, maybe we'll all get out front here. It might be better.
Turn around. Like this? Yes, ma'am.
Can you get us all here?
Just turn around. Right here, right here.
That's all right.
Thank you so much.
And any comments you'd like to make?
Great, thank you so much.
Right here's the microphone.
Thank you. Go ahead, sorry. I'd like to introduce all the people that came with us today. We have Angela Hood, right? Sorry, Angela Cook. Well, we have Angie Cook right here, and we have Sheila Derrick, and we have Lion Bob Peterson. In the sitting out here, we have Thomas Hamilton, thank you, and Angela from the Fort Worth Lighthouse, and then we have two other people that work at the Division for Blind Services, Todd Icard and Errol Shaw. So I'd like to thank you so much for this proclamation, and we brought flyers for our event for tomorrow for anybody that may want one, and it's going to be at the First Presbyterian Church is where we'll meet, and we're going to be walking across the 7th Street Bridge on the sidewalks, and then we'll be crossing in, coming back, and then we'll have food for the first 150 people that signed up, and then we have a Facebook page on here where you can sign up if you'd like to join us, and there's still room, there's still food, and lots of fun things, activities, and we'll have vendors there from various blind community organizations, as well as people who sell or service people who are blind and provide services. And just feel free to pick up a flyer and come. Sheila, you want to say something?
I'd just like to make sure that we thank Commissioner Johnson for the proclamation. He is a constant and consistent supporter of all activities within the blind community, and we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to Steve's presentation over at your program tomorrow. We have our consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Commissioner. Members of the Court, we have one additional item. That's item number 1 of the Administrator's section. We're requesting that the court approve a policy to self-insure for losses the individual bonds of certain officers and employees that are listed within the proposed policy.
Questions,
Yes.
Mr. Manius. Where did this come from?
Well,
We have always presented our own bonds.
what happened is that the legislature gave us the ability to self-insure, and so instead of having to pay for those bonds, I think over the last 4 years, we spent about $11,000 on the ones that we want to bond with our self-insurance fund. And quite frankly, I believe over the last 20 years, we have never had a claim against any of those office holders. So to us, it would simply be good business to be able to self-insure certain. We have restrictions that were included in the policy. It would basically save us some money by doing this.
And that self-insurance will cover the members of this court?
It's my understanding, yes.
All elected officials, I assume.
Well, no. There are some that, first of all, what we want to make sure is that an office holder is bondable. So for their first time, we will continue to pay for that bond. There are certain other elected officials, that being the county clerk, the district clerk, and the tax assessor, that have large bonds that they're required to hold. We will also buy commercial bonds for them. But those that have...
Larger than the sheriff's bond?
Yes. Those bonds are probably about $500,000 apiece.
What's the premium on that?
I don't know what the premium is on those.
That's okay. Where is the money for this self-insurance pool? Where does it come from?
It comes from our general operating budget. We keep approximately $1 million worth of reserves in the self-insurance funds annually.
So it would be out of the same self-insurance fund that covers casualty losses and that sort of thing?
Correct.
And those bonded amounts are anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000.
Most are small. Some of these offices really don't even touch cash anymore. If you look at some of the courts, for instance, the clerk's office that handles the cash and not the judges themselves.
Sure.
Did we have a motion on this?
No.
I'm making the motion to approve the policy.
A second.
Motion made and second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, or please vote. Vote is unanimous.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, GK. Budget and risk management.
The Risk Management Board is recommending payment of the claim today that's on your agenda to Peter F. Miller and Stephanie Miller in the amount of $1,690.01.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous. Human Resources. Mr. Glenn.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Glenn.
We have two items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
Our second and final item, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for the 324th District Court. As outlined in your communique, we have an auxiliary family court coordinator who's retiring on October 15th, which I believe is this Wednesday, with 400 vacation hours. Judge Hennigan is requesting a waiver. He deems this position is critical in ensuring that he can keep his cases processed in a timely fashion. This individual has, retiring individual has 400 vacation hours. The fiscal impact to the general fund will be approximately $12,500, a little bit more than that, including fringe benefits.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Purchasing, Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have four items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for 2014-166. It's an annual contract for SAP Consulting Services Our recommendation be to award a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
Item number 2 is also a bid award recommendation for bid 2014-172. Said bid for the purchase of furniture for the Civil Courts Building. Our recommendation would be to award a per enterprise basis, awarding certain items to the 2 low bidders, Furniture by William Webb and Intelligent Interiors Incorporated.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
And item number 3, we are seeking an exemption from the competitive bid requirements for biohazard waste disposal for the Public Health Department, which is allowable under Vernon, Texas Codes 262.024A2.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
And our last item, number 4, we're seeking that same exemption for hazard material cleanup services, spill management, and biohazard cleaning.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous.
Commissioner Johnson, on behalf of, since Mr. Early is here today, we are having a,
He does get the mic after you.
for a sizable donation, we will deliver a bowl of roadkill chili or last year's frito pie to your establishment next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, I think. Okay, County Judge and Commissioners, I have some interlocal agreements, item 8J, 1A through J. All of these been approved by the DA's office?
Second.
I would move approval. Motion made and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous. Any appointments today? Yeah, in a minute. Any bonds? Various claims and addendum.
Move for the approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Please vote. Vote is unanimous. And we'll wait until after we have these 2 presentations. Andy, if that's all right with you.
All right.
Okay, briefing. We have update on Tarrant County Hospital District. Mr. Early. Good morning, Robert.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Good morning,
and
Robert.
Court. Appreciate it very much. To Jack's comment on my sizable contribution for roadkill, we'll make a sizable contribution if Jack eats his own roadkill. So he can have his own roadkill. I've got yellow Jell-O and a bendable straw waiting at JPS for me, so I'm going to go back and eat that. Couple things I want to do. First, I want to say a few thanks to some people. Ron Wright. I can't tell you in the history of JPS, and anybody's come to a board meeting and announced that they want to give us $1.5 million. And for Ron Wright to come and tell us that we would be excluded from being charged for our own tax collection because we're part of this county is incredibly powerful. And I will make you as a court, and I will make Ron Wright a vow that that money will go directly back into patient care. It will go where it needs to go. And we were pleased, surprised, and thankful. So accolades to Ron Wright and his team and his efforts to do that.
He's just like Santa Claus.
You recognize that Ron Wright can't just give away $1.5 million
I do.
without the acquiescence of this court.
I do recognize that very much.
Just to be clear.
I'm very clear about who provides that. And so I'm
But
very
we want
thankful.
to give Ron Wright credit, though, for at least bringing it to our attention.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
he did that.
And we are very thankful. The relationship that we have with you as commissioners is one that's very strong, and we appreciate. The issue of Ron deciding to do that is we are very thankful, and you all allowing it makes it happen for us. So our patients thank you, and they don't have the microphone right now. And if they did, they'd be overjoyed by that luxury. So thank you. There's a variety of things I could talk about and updating you on what took place at the board, but I think the posing question is JPS ready for Ebola? And what are you doing, and how are you prepared, and what's happening at JPS for an infectious disease that, although has been around since the 70s, presents itself with a series of challenges for all of us in healthcare delivery and all of us in just existing and how you deal with that. But before I tell you what JPS has done, I really do need to thank some people, and I think you all need to realize it, and I know you do, but the people that are watching this on internet and other activities need to understand the role that public health has played and the role that this county has played. The interesting thing about Ebola and what my colleagues at THR Presbyterian are going through is I've decided that it's a whole lot easier to watch the Dallas Cowboys than to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody wants to sit back and be a critic on how you handle things. Well, they didn't say this right in the press, and they didn't do that right, and they didn't do this right. It's a different deal when you're on the field and somebody who's 6'4" and weighs 375 pounds is running at you. You don't always throw the ball to the right person. It is a challenge to do certain things on the spot. So to my colleagues at THR Presbyterian, I feel for them because I understand what it was like last year when JPS was in international spotlight and got 675 phone calls from the media, from Brisbane, Australia to Berlin. It's tough and it's challenging, and it takes you off of a daily game plan of taking care of patients every day when you have that, because you still have patients coming in the front door. But our public health department has done a wonderful job. And G.K. Manius has taken the lead at trying to put things together and organize things in a world that you didn't expect a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. So you're trying to come up with answers on the fly. And you're trying to come up with answers with experts telling you what to do, but you also find that the experts sometimes have some different approaches as well. So I applaud public health and the new leadership at public health. I can't imagine them interviewing for the job and saying, I hope my first response is to Ebola. So credit to that team. I think we need to take a pause and realize that is a tough place to be when everything's coming at you at one time. Also, the amount of conference calls that we are on. JPS has been on conference calls and meetings with people. We constantly are meeting with CDC and the state health departments and public health departments. We're following the chain of command by communicating with our public health to the state, state to CDC, CDC down to the state, back down to public health, back down to caregivers, JPS and everybody else. So I applaud what's taken place. I know that you all have been involved in it. I know that the judge has been on those conference calls. I know the lead that every person is playing to try to deal with this. Some of the things that we're trying to do is establish the proper protocols. We are as prepared as you can be with trying to drill. We have had drills in our labor and delivery, our emergency room, our urgent care, and our community clinics. Drilling for if a patient were to present, what would you do? What gear would you don? How would you take that gear off? And that is a challenge on just putting it on, taking it off. So what we've done at JPS, which a lot of institutions have done, and we've talked with our healthcare delivery colleagues in the nation, we've talked to folks in Atlanta and everywhere else, and what we've put into place is a buddy system by which you are assisted and helped putting on the equipment and taking the equipment off. It's challenging, and one can think that your adrenaline is running a little bit high when you're getting prepared to go in that room. And when you come out of that room, you may be a little quick in trying to get that equipment off you, that protective gear off you. It has to be a systematic approach by which you do it, and it's best if you have individuals there. This takes a great deal of people. If you have somebody that presents, you have to follow the proper protocol as you know it. Then as you follow that protocol, you've got to have additional staff. You've got to have a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio of nurses to that patient. You have to have people outside the door, making sure that nobody goes in that room. You have to have an additional room next to the room, which is basically the hot room or the room where you have an infection. You have to have a room next to that where you can take that material off, because you don't want to exit that room and walk off. The other challenge is the equipment. If you x-ray somebody, if you use any equipment, you're taking that equipment out of the ability to be used anywhere else throughout your system. So it warrants a great deal of challenges, some of which are ready answers, some of which are just rote. You do this, you do this, you do this. Some of them are going to be answers that present themselves at that time. It's humans dealing with a human element here. So it is challenging. So I do want to compliment, I think JPS is in a good state. As I told you, and Commissioner Wynn and I have had conversations about this. We've had conversations, Commissioner Brooks and others, about how we're being prepared on this. We've been drilling for a while, and we've been asking the questions on travel since August. So we've tried our best to get ahead of it as far as possible as we can. The other factor here is it is a concern. We deal with infectious disease at JPS all the time. So I don't want to elevate it beyond where it should be, and I don't want to create a fear factor that is needless for our community. But I want a community to be aware. I want a community to understand that this is something that all of us in the healthcare delivery system are trying to deal with. At the base and the foundation by which decisions should be made, though, should be clinical. It should be clinicians talking about it. It should be infectious disease control experts who have studied this and understand it. We as non-clinicians should have a second-tier approach. It's exactly what Mr. Manius has done at trying to figure out where the county is and advising you and telling you as elected officials how you go back to your constituents and deal with them. I'm not trying to give a speech here. I'm just trying to say all the things we're trying to do to be prepared, and it's multi-layered. And it's easier when you're looking from the outside than when you're actually in the facility trying to make those decisions. But we're doing everything that we possibly can. We are prepared. If a patient does present in the next 10 minutes, we will be as prepared as we possibly can be. We are prepared with isolation rooms. We are prepared with our nursing and our physician staff. People are prepared, and we're doing the best we can. Every day we learn a little bit more, and every day we've learned from others' experiences. So I just want to assure you that I am thankful to be in this county. I'm thankful to have the public health department that we have. And quite frankly, I'm happy to have the elected officials such as you all and others that are playing key roles in trying to create safety, reduce fear, and be prepared for something that could potentially happen. But we are doing the best we possibly can. So if you all have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them on this issue. But that's the most pressing thing. Again, we had a good board meeting. The board meeting went quite well, but I felt you really needed to understand the preparations that JPS was taking and those incredible caregivers over there that are still willing, ready, and able when people come in that door.
I was very happy and impressed when we communicated, and I learned that JPS has been drilling and practicing for the worst case scenario since August. And I felt a lot better. I felt a lot better that all leadership, not only at public health, at the county administrator level, but also at JPS, that we are prepared for the worst case scenarios. And thank you for that.
Thank you, and thank you for your questions. I think your questions are perfect to be asked, perfect to be answered, because that's what dispels what's happening. We live in a world where there is a variety of rumors. We've had rumors about how many Ebola patients we've had. We have not had an Ebola patient. We don't have an Ebola patient now. Sometimes Twitter and social networking can be a challenge when people decide they just want to say something on there. So I appreciate your questions because they were direct and they have answers to them. Thank you.
Well, I pray for you and your staff every day. I am aware, and I think it has been borne out by the Presbyterian Hospital situation, that you can have all the protocols in the world. You can have everything covered by a policy or a protocol, but it takes one human being who is just a tad off of his or her game to not ask the right question, or not put the information in the proper box, or not communicate it up or down the chain, and all of your planning and all of your protocols come to naught. So I pray that practice does indeed make perfect, that all of the drilling that we have done at JPS since August, and I know that it's been an ongoing process, and that we are as prepared as any place in the world for a patient who presents. I pray that when that person presents, as he or she inevitably will at JPS, that it just goes perfect way. And that requires a degree of divine intervention in spite of our best efforts.
You're exactly right, and I appreciate your prayers. And I think my role as a CEO is to listen to the clinicians and listen to the infectious disease experts that we have at JPS and that we have here in this nation. And we do that. I think another responsibility I have is to walk those hallways over there and constantly thank the people that are there every day. The people that sometimes you don't know their names, but they're on the front lines 24/7, 7 days a week for whatever comes in that front door. And they need to know that I care, this community cares, and you all care, because they're out there and sometimes they don't get the thank yous they need to have. And that is the role that I need to play.
Robert, thank you very much for what y'all are doing out there, and I want to thank you too for the briefings that you give me from time to time regarding your problems, and you certainly have one with this, and I feel for you, but keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
You bet.
And you guys keep your game face on, and because you don't know what's going to walk in that door. That's, we're very proud of
Thank you.
the job y'all are doing.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Public health updates.
Somebody should have warned me not to follow him to the podium here. Well, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. Early for recognizing the efforts that Public Health has played over the last couple of weeks. And he really brings to light the preparation that I so confidently told you at the last briefing, that we're fully prepared, not only in public health, but having talked to our healthcare partners like JPS. I mean, this is just a great insight in the preparation that has gone on in Tarrant County. And that's why, even though I'm new to the community, I had full confidence when I came here last week that we're ready and able to handle anything that comes into our county. Having said that, one of the things that I wanted to, bring to your attention, I'm sure you've been following in the media, there's been a second case of Ebola, and the nurse who was, taking care of Mr. Duncan came down ill, and as we speak, she's hospitalized at the Texas Presbyterian Hospital over in Dallas. We're, again, keeping a very close eye on the situation. In fact, we've ramped up our preparedness efforts. We've embedded 3 of our staff into the Dallas operation to make sure that we get firsthand information if there's anything that we need to worry about. We also have increased our efforts to outreach to our community members. That's a vital role that public health plays to make sure that all our community members are very well aware of all the updates and the information that's coming out regarding Ebola. There's a lot of changing guidance that is being issued from the federal government and the state entities, and we're making sure that that's getting out to our partners in the healthcare community, first responders, fire, EMS. We've been constantly holding meetings with all the interested parties, making outreach efforts. And one of the things that I wanted to mention earlier, and I believe I mentioned last time as well, there's a Bulletin of Information for the general public or anyone who is interested. It's available on our website. At this point, it is available in English and Spanish, and we're working on translating that into Vietnamese, French, and a couple other languages, and we hope to have those up on our website soon. And we want to make an extended outreach effort into the community to make sure that anybody who has any doubts or any questions has the ability to understand that information. And we encourage anybody to call us. We've been fielding a lot of calls from the media, from our partner agencies. But even if the general public has any question, they can certainly call us and get clarifications. So with that, I just want to assure you that we're ready and prepared. And thanks to really partners like JPS in the community, we feel very confident that we can respond to any eventualities. So, and thank you again for your leadership and the opportunity to come speak here.
Yeah, and I want to say something here. Because of certain rules and regulations, we can't really mention the patient's name, right? But this is a real person. I never thought that this disease would hit home so closely to me. The patient, the second patient that you referred to, is a daughter of a family friend. And I went to the same church with her parents, and her parents are residents of Tarrant County. She is a graduate of TCU. What I'm saying here is this is a real person, and we should understand that this terrible virus can move very quickly and very closely to you in a personable way. And I think we need to keep that in mind and keep our county as well as the second patient in prayer, but also do everything we can to make sure that we educate our neighbors and our community members to guard against this terrible disease.
Thank you, Commissioner Nguyen, for your comments. We, totally concur that, public health is really personal. It can affect you, your family members, and, anybody that you know. So, diseases really don't honor boundary lines, and that's where we stand on the front line to make sure that we're there to respond and take care of our community's needs.
I am comforted that we are in excellent hands here in Tarrant County between our public hospital, our other hospital partners, and public health. Benny, you have just been amazing to have been in this community for 3 weeks. You have been the face of public health. You have provided information in a calm and compassionate and reassuring manner. You've been baptized by fire. And we're certainly glad that we made the right choice when we brought you to Tarrant County.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If we could change the subject just a moment, do we have our flu shots?
No, sir. We still are, in communication with the manufacturer. Unfortunately, the backstory is that they are a large manufacturer, and they worked with a smaller company who was working on getting some of the right labels and materials onto the vaccine, and apparently they're changing headquarters, and things are kind of delayed. At this point, I plan to call them personally to see what we can do because we're sort of late. Weather has cooled off, and that does increase, flu virus activity. So I'll be personally calling them to see what we can do at this point where we're kind of at their mercy to receive our supply. The only assurance I was given is that as far as they are aware, there's no health department in Texas that has received it. But, that doesn't really give me any warm fuzzies. But like I mentioned last time, the private businesses do have it. So I do encourage all our community members, including yourself, to please go get a flu shot. Don't wait, on the vaccine. If you find it anywhere, just please go get it because you want to protect yourself early in the season.
Thank you very much.
Stay on it, Benny.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Nguyen, I believe you have a announcement you want to make.
Thank you. On a happier note, in support of United Way, I would like to invite everyone and your family and neighbors and friends and so forth to participate in the Taste of Asia on Friday, November 7th at the Southeast Maintenance Center of Kennedale Parkway. We will be serving what my staff name as Kicking Korean Barbecue and Vietnamese pork, grilled pork, and I will personally marinate and cook the food myself. And would you like chicken feet? I can have them rushed in for you.
No, thank you.
But so November 7th from 11:30 to 1:30, and if you can't make it on that day, we also have recruited several restaurants, Asian restaurants, around the county to participate. If you eat at one of those restaurants, they will donate 10 to 20% to United Way. So during the week of October 27th to 31st, on Monday 27th, Bamboo Pho and Spring Roll in Arlington off of Matlock. Tuesday, October 28th, Piranha Killer Sushi. Wednesday, October 29th, we have Sprouts. And then on Friday, October 31st, at 5 different locations in Arlington, Fort Worth, and I believe Hearst as well, we have Genghis Grill. Okay, and these restaurants have agreed to participate and donate up to 20% of the revenue that they generate those days to United Way. So if you can't make it on Friday, November the 7th, be sure to have lunch at one of these restaurants. Thank you.
And while we're plugging commercials, this Friday, we're having a fish fry out at my maintenance facility that all of you are invited to, and I think most people in here know that, but the public is welcome, and we're going to have a lot of fish to eat.
Good fish.
Commissioner Brooks.
And to wrap this up, Precinct 1's Pancake Breakfast is also on November 7th. It's from 7 to 9:30 a.m. So come get your breakfast at the Southwest Sub Courthouse. Incidentally, we were on that day first. So come to Precinct 1, eat your breakfast, take part in the activities that will go on that day, including the silent auction, and if you have any money left, then go have lunch with Commissioner Wynn.
But before you go have pancakes and Asian food, a week before that, on Halloween, the 31st, on Friday, at the Precinct 3 Maintenance Center, we will be having barbecue with the traditional trimmings that go along with it. And we'll have some silent auction items, and a lot of different things are going on. So if you could spend your money there, then you might go have some pancakes. So thank you.
Any other commercials today?
I just wanted to say, Commissioner Johnson, that the week after all this is over with, Ms. Glenn is going to start the WOW program so that you can lose all the weight you got.
We're going to remove the elevators, right?
Absolutely.
Since we have no items for closed, this meeting is adjourned.